Hello YouTube. I'm making this video because I'm extraordinarily angry and frustrated and decided to do some research on what our duties as citizens are, and I found some things that I'd like to share with you. Make no mistake, we are American citizens. We have an obligation to uphold our freedoms. The duties of the American citizens are one that has long been held sacred and was given to us by our forefathers. Our forefathers, the very founders of this republic, felt that the freedom was given to all generations through the blood of the many who fought for those rights. The fact being that the blood of our beloved patriot soldiers always remains at our feet to serve as a reminder to those who fought and sacrificed to ensure that all generations would be free. The definition of a good citizen can be found through the words of our forefathers and should be treated as sacred. It is our duty to uphold the very same laws and virtues that were spelled out to us many years ago. Freedom also depends upon the strength and desire of every man, woman, and child that resides within its great country's borders. Within the borders of a federal republic, it remains the responsibility of the citizens, the people, of that republic to enforce laws when their freedoms are being threatened. A man's integrity depends upon the values in which he loves and lives by, not the ones he professes to live by. A nation's integrity depends upon its just and fair laws and the manner in which they are obeyed or disobeyed and the manner in which those laws are enforced. No matter who the violator of a law is, our job as citizens is to demand that the law be upheld and the violator be brought to justice under the guidelines of the law, especially when laws that pertain to our Constitution, freedom, and crimes against our pledge have been committed. According to our system, every officer of the government must receive his position or authority directly or indirectly from the people. And this gives every private citizen a measure of responsibility as well as our own dignity and freedom. If an officer of our government abuses his authority, it is our job as citizens to enforce the criminal charges or penalties and see that justice is served in the name of the people and for the people. This is part of our oath. This is part of our responsibility. This is our pledge to our country, to protect this country and the people who reside within it from tyrannical leaders who oppose a federal republic. Theodore Roosevelt defined the duties of a citizen in 1883, and here is some of what he professes to be the duties of all Americans who live under the flag of the Republic of the United States. He first cautions us that no amount of preaching citizen duties will save a nation when the domestic home is undermined, when there is a lack of virtues in the domestic life of a citizen. I interpret this to mean that unless our domestic lives are filled with truth, integrity, an honorable attitude, and a true desire to be a loving brother and sister to our fellow Americans, then no amount of citing citizen duties will help. This means that gangs need to focus on the country as a whole and stop focusing on retaining or achieving power over any fellow citizens in any community. The drug dealers need to stop peddling their toxic substances that harm and undermine the learning intelligence of the brain. The politicians need to uphold their oaths of office and represent the people as they were elected to do. Leaders need to live their lives with virtue and honor and not commit illegal and sinful acts behind closed doors. And the military and police officers must be of office and not cause unjust harm to the American people. That we have to in whole check our moral values and make sure we are living within the realms of patriotism and not in an unethical or illegal manner. This is so important, as the more citizens who live their lives in an illegal manner, the less voices there are to be heard when demanding justice. It's a gap that we cannot afford to have in the moral fiber of this great republic. Continues by saying that a good citizen must be willing and able to take arms for the defense of the flag, meaning that all citizens must be willing to fight for their freedoms when they are being threatened. Every citizen must be willing to bear arms to protect the flag and the Constitution. He further states the people who say that they have no time to attend politics are simply saying that they are unfit to live in a free community. Their place is under a despotism or a tyrannical leader. In one of Lowell's magnificent stanzas about the Civil War, he speaks of the fact that freedom is not a gift that tarries long in the hands of cowards, nor yet does it tarry long in the hands of an idler, nor in the hands of the man so much absorbed in the pursuit of pleasure or in the pursuit of gain, nor does it tarry long in the hands of the man who is so much wrapped up in his own easy home life as to be unable to take part in the rough struggle with his fellow men for political supremacy. If freedom is worth having, if the right of self-government is a valuable right, then one must retain it exactly as our forefathers did, by labor, and especially by labor and organization. We should not accept the excuse of a businessman who attributes his failure to the fact that his social duties were so pleasant and engrossing that he had no time left for work in his office. Just the same way with politics. It makes one half angry and half amused and wholly contemptuous to find men standing in the community saying that they really have not got time to go to political meetings, to join or organize political clubs, and to make a personal share in all the important details of practical politics. It is even more distressing when these men further urge others against their responsibility to uphold the pledge of their own nation. In whole, each citizen must be willing to be politically involved in their nation, as well as be willing to defend the Constitution and flag of the Republic at any cost through media, marches, protests, demonstrations, or in last case scenarios, bearing arms and causing civil disturbance in order to restore the freedoms and constitutions to the people. I am ashamed that we sat idle as American citizens while those on Capitol Hill destroyed our Constitution. I will be idle no more. I will become politically involved and help find a way to restore the Constitution of this great republic as it should be, in whole and intact. That is my duty as a citizen of this country for the future generations and in honor of those who fought for my right to do so. So I will be idle no more. Will you?